Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Shane and Bane Ruin the Classics. And today we are on volume three. Is that right, Bruce?
Yes, sir.
Three of impactful albums that help inspire our musical journeys. And Mr. Bane, do you
I'll
have any more
start.
left in the tank?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking across the computer. I've got like four crates full of albums. So we're not going to run out anytime soon. So
Yes.
I'll start. I'm going to go chronologically. And I've got a couple singer-songwriters in this set. I'm going to take you back to 1974.
Ooh,
Dan Fogelberg,
the Fogue.
Souvenirs. Now, Shane, I bet you do not know that your old buddy, Joe Walsh, produced this album,
I
Fogelberg.
did not know that.
And he plays on every track, some guitar, some slide stuff, some acoustic, some electric. Joe Walsh. This is the album that really, it's Dan Fogelberg's second album, came out in 1974. And this is the one that put him on the map, his first hit, Part of the Plan. But um, uh, let me preface my love for Dan Fogelberg. I'm not a big fan of his really soft, sappy ballads. The guy can rock. He's a formidable musician and electric guitarist. I mean, the man can rock, and I love his harder stuff. But his songwriting, no matter if it's sappy, soft, hard, he's a phenomenal songwriter, and he's written some of the greatest songs. There's another video out on our channel about Same Old Lang Syne.
Yeah.
I talk about.
Where's the cool
Anyway,
guy?
he was opening up for the Eagles at the time. So guess who's on this album? Mr. Don Henley, Randy Meisner, Glenn Frey, Jerry Beckley of America's on this album. Russ Kunkel plays drums on every track, and
Was
then
JD Souther on that at all? Just to throw out
no,
another name. Okay.
no, but the Eagles are all over this because he was opening up for them at the time. But this is a phenomenal album. It's got some soft stuff, some hard stuff, but
Anything I would know, Bruce?
what's that?
Any song that would I might recognize or no?
Part of the Plan, his first big hit, probably
Okay.
is it. But yeah, there's a beloved track. There's a place in the world for a gambler. That's on this one too. But this made me fall in love with Dan Fogelberg and really get into the singer songwriter. And another album today that I'm going to hit is of that genre too. Oh, Graham Nash sings on this album.
Graham Nash, of course. All these
Anyway,
guys, they were all in everybody's albums.
yeah, but Joe Walsh, you didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I did not know that. The thing that took me back with Fogelberg back as a young person, obviously everybody knows I'm a little younger than Bruce, is is recognizing his first big radio hit started coming out. And I think it was, and I don't remember when this was released, Bruce, you'll know this. Leader of the Band. Is that the singer of the band? What's it
1980,
called?
leader of the band,
Leader of the Band.
19
And I'll
Run for
be
the
honest,
Roses.
I was put off by that song. I thought it was schmaltzy. I thought it was cheesy. So I didn't really get like Steely Dan in our journeys and Supertramp to a degree. I wasn't really exposed of appreciating Fogelberg because I was really anti that song as a young lad. So as I got older, I appreciated his poetry. I really am not quite aware of how good of a guitar player he is, I'll be honest. I mean, and obviously you've introduced me to his unknown talents to me, but it took me a minute to come around to Dan Fogelberg. So
Poetry is a great word. Dan was a poet.
yeah,
Rest in peace, Dan.
yes.
All right, what are you going to start us off with?
Okay, I'm going back to 1970. I want to say 78, 78, maybe 79. I'm looking at my notes underneath here. I
Remember
selected.
it well.
I was a little young. And something a little edgier than Mr. Dan Fogelberg at the time. And to me, and for me, it was Cheap Trick's Dream Police. And when this was released, obviously this was on the heels of after Budokan started blowing up the United States with no intention to blowing up the United States. It was meant to strictly be a Japanese kind of thing. Um, and off the heels of Heaven Tonight and In Color and all the earlier Cheap Trick releases that were modest, they weren't real successful. But when Budokan blew up, they pushed this album out just as fast. And this was a huge album for me as a young lad, and obviously has the big hits, the Dream Police, Voices, which I love, which I also learned from Mr. Bain and I doing our journeys that our dear great love of Steve Lukather played all the guitar on Voices, the solo, everything. I was like, I felt like my childhood was robbed. You know, it was like, how did this guy get in here? And Rick
Smooth.
Nielsen, do why would he hire this other guy to come in and he's sitting in the engineering room and yeah, that's perfect. But when I go back and listen to him, like that is totally Lukather now that you hear it. But and Way of the World and to me, what's the other one? Gonna Raise Hell. I love that song, and I was young, I was impressionable, and that music really just brought out the rawness of rock and roll to me. Started doing it, and it was very accessible, and they were quirky, and I was attracted to all nature of Cheap Trick back in the day. And yeah, so Cheap Trick, Dream Police, and I had myself to thank for that, not my older brother for once. So
Hey,
there you
you're
go.
demonstrated.
Found something
Uh,
on my own.
yeah, Cheap Trick, they were there for me in the periphery of my soundtrack, and I do have the Dream Police on vinyl. Great album.
Uh-huh.
All right, second on my list, 1976 on this one. This is my favorite album of Billy Joel, Turnstiles. Phenomenal album. And this is right before he hit it big. And in a separate video, we're going to be talking about some of our concert experiences. And I've got a little story about this album, but I saw him in concert. I'll just leave it at that. I saw him in concert as he was promoting this album.
Ah,
And it was right before he hit it big, but this was kind of my introduction to Billy Joel. Miami 2017's on here. Angry Young Man, Say Goodbye to Hollywood, Summer Highland Falls. I love this album, and that's the one that really turned me on to Billy Joel. It was his fourth album. Of course, I went back and bought his previous two before this. I don't think I own Cold Spring Harbor, but this was my gateway into Billy Joel, and a huge fan. And this remains to this day my favorite Billy Joel album, Turnstiles. Love it.
Turnstiles. Say Goodbye to Hollywood. I love that too. And you know, obviously all the Billy Joel growing up that I listened to, we had a couple of singles. I don't think we owned an album of
Mm.
Billy Joel, which is shocking, but man, you couldn't throw a stick anywhere without hearing Billy Joel on the radio at this time, right? I mean, was that was 76?
Uh, the next album's what?
Stranger? What was it?
After The Stranger,
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't. Yeah, it was like Billy Joel, 5 songs a year, new songs that were on the radio every year after
yeah,
that
he
for the
hit the
rest of our
stratosphere
lives.
from there. Yep.
Good one there, Mr. Billy Joel. Okay, my next one, Bruce. You'll know this album. I don't know how much you listen to it. You might even own it. But this was a huge album. This was one of the biggest albums of all time. And it's probably on everybody's most like highly influential. And this was a really big catalyst for the band of what they were going to do, how are they going to be received, and they were absolutely rewarded with one of the biggest albums of all time. And I'm talking AC/DC's Back in Black, 1980. After the passing of Bon Scott, uh, not too long after, they put out this album in response to that and took a chance with a different singer and all that. And everybody can go deep into the history of Bon and knowing a little bit of Brian and seeing him live and mentioning how he would have been a great replacement for the band back in the lore. I don't know how much is true and how much is not, but this album we played the crap out of. And there's so much static burn on certain parts of this album that I can are etched in my brain. And I was one of the idiots that always play the same songs, like Back in Black and You Shook Me All Night Long. And but then again, every song on this album is historic in a degree. But yeah, this was a huge album. This blew up the band, made them a few dollars, and now you can't. And to me, actually, this album, production wise, with Mutt Lange and whatnot, is one of the most timeless sounding records ever recorded, produced. And you don't realize that this album is what? do the math, Bruce. Is that 50? No, 45 years old? Is
Yeah,
that
right,
right?
right around there. Yeah,
45 years old. It doesn't sound like it sounds like it's timeless album, how it was produced.
true.
So, yes, Back in Black. Yeah, we were back.
I do own that album.
You do own that album. How much
You
does it
have
get
to.
spinned?
Not that often, but I will say my record collection is alphabetized, and it is the. I'm looking at it right now. The first one, shining through my crate right there. It's black.
It is, and it's back.
It's black.
All
All right,
right.
let's go to 1977. This was this band's second album, but man, I did a separate video just on the impact of dropping the needle on the title track of
Yeah.
Alan Parsons project, I, Robot. Man, this was a spiritual experience, if I can use that phrase. When I dropped the needle on the title track, I, Robot, I was hooked by the Alan Parsons Project. Had to go buy their first album, and I think I've owned every one since. Just Alan Parsons, phenomenal artists who compiled some of the great voices and musicians. And this album does make it in my rotation very often. Some of the songs on here are just, I, Robot, I Wouldn't Want to Be Like You, Some Other Time, Breakdown, just phenomenal. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, I've seen the Alan Parsons Project a couple times in concert, and yeah, one of my favorite acts. And this album was, like I said, transformative for me.
It's crazy because after you you did a top five, was it on of your Mount Rushmore of Alan
Yes.
Parsons, and you picked iRobot, and I really didn't know a lot about this album, so I pulled it up after you done it, and it is a great progressive album, and especially iRobot. I can understand as a young person, you were probably listening to that needle drop, hearing those big speakers, and hearing, if you haven't heard this song, people, you can absolutely tell the influence Alan Parsons had on Dark Side of the Moon with Pink Floyd. And the synthesizer and that do 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 do. It is a great listen, sonic listen. And yeah, it's a pretty cool album. I would agree.
And that's another album that does not sound as old as it is. I mean,
No, it does not sound dated.
at
No,
all.
great production value. I mean, Alan Parsons was a genius, and he still is. So
Absolutely.
yes, well done. Okay, my last one, I guarantee Bruce doesn't have. I will bet my house, and I don't own a house, but I would bet Bruce's house on this. Is my older brother brought home after introducing me to British metal. He came home with this band I heard of from school, but I didn't really hear of, and it was Iron Maiden. Nate, the number of the beast. And I think the years escaping me, early 80s. I can't remember right now. I apologize. And I was a little older, obviously, but just listening to what metal guitars could do in continuation with my love of Judas Priest, this took it to the next step. Like, holy crap. And I tell you, there were a couple people around that lived in our house that did not appreciate this, and that was my parents. And not just because of maybe the name, and my brother and I had to kind of hide this metal music from them back in the day because, it was the devil's music and whatnot. But it was because we could not play this album not turned up to 11. Those guitars, especially the title song, The Number of the Beast, is just freaking awesome. Hallowed be thy name. Yeah, and that continued my journey down the speed metal love. I mean, I wouldn't really go too crazy with it with other bands to a degree like I did Judas Priest and Iron Maiden, but rest of the 80s, Iron Maiden was just phenomenal. I mean, it was a great time to be a Maiden fan back in the 80s, and I think that was their classic golden era. And I'm sure Bruce may not even know an Iron Maiden song.
I got plenty of Iron Maiden blasting from my brother's bedroom.
Okay, oh yeah, to
I
turn
got
them back
most of
to.
it, but correct, I do not own that album. But yeah, I've heard my secondhand Maiden, we'll call it.
Yeah, from Brother Bane. So that's it. So that's our next three. Is that right, Bruce? Did we do our three?
That is correct.
All
In the
right.
comments, let us know what you think about the 6 albums that we mentioned. And also, let us know if you'd like us to talk about any of your favorite albums. Just
Please do.
hit us up in the comments. We
All
love
right.
it.
Talk to you later.
Bye.